Well, President Biden shared details of his American Families Plan last night, which includes paid family leave, child care, and education. Watch this.
When you add 2 years of free community college on top of that, you begin to change the dynamic. We can do that. And we'll increase Pell Grants and invest in historical black colleges and universities, tribal colleges, minority-serving institutions.
Joining us now to discuss is former Department of Education Press Secretary Angela Morabito. Angela, great to have you with me tonight. First, I want to get your reaction to the president's comments about education, and particularly the kind of moderate pitch that he gave around this.
Well, I don't know if I would call it a moderate pitch, Brian. President Biden is floating this idea of a $251 billion transfer of money to the higher education industry. And while this may be more moderate than what Bernie Sanders and AOC wanted to have happen, it is a step on the path toward free college that is paid for by the U.S. taxpayer. You know, in this proposal, there's several different funds. They pay colleges, different types of colleges, depending on what they are, who they serve. What's missing is any form of quality control. These colleges are getting huge amounts of money, and they have no incentive to actually deliver a good product to their students. Community colleges, any kind of college, really, education can be so transformative. But instead, the Biden plan is going to incentivize colleges just to fill more seats and to keep the government happy because they're no longer accountable to the students.
You know, this is an interesting point you raise, Angela, because in the marketplace, what you hear an awful lot of is companies saying students coming out of college aren't ready for the jobs that we want to give them. They're not prepared. The quality issue is huge, but there's absolutely zero conversation about this. It seems to me the model is let's pump as many people through the college system as possible. And you got to wonder, is that because we're preparing them for work or because that's a great way to push an ideology on all those students?
Campus reform covers every day how college campuses are the testing ground for leftist ideologies, that what starts on college campuses ends up in boardrooms, in newsrooms, and then in K-12 classrooms. Colleges are where the left has their stronghold and where their ideas take root. Now, when you talk about quality, there are two sort of aspects of paying for college I want to address here. We're talking about Pell Grants and community college. Now, both of these things can be great, but if you look at the numbers, only about 1 in 3 students who enroll in community college will graduate from that school, and only a little over half of Pell Grant recipients will graduate from a 4-year college within 6 years, so 150% of the typical time to completing their credential. We need to invest in making these products actually work for students instead of just pumping more money into them and hoping something changes.
Really quickly, Angela, on the money front, you know, we're talking about free college, tuition free. Of course, it's not free. And the question is, are prices and costs actually going to go up because the government gets more involved in funding more of this?
Yes, they will. And we've seen this happen every single time the government has gotten more involved in trying to make college less expensive. It actually has the opposite effect. When Pell Grants were first created decades ago, President Biden has said himself in his White House fact sheet that Pell Grants sometimes covered up to 80% of the cost of college. Well, you know what? The cost of college skyrocketed. The same thing happened in 2011 when then President Obama nationalized the federal student loan portfolio. Every single well-intentioned government action has caused costs to go up and quality to go down.
Angela Morabito, not a moderate message last night. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. We appreciate it.